Hey everybody, it's what? It's what? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I just wanted to come back to you guys with another video as promised. Today I'll be talking to you about why I work from home and why you can too, if you choose to. New to this channel, welcome. If you are not new to this channel, welcome back. And don't forget to click the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the like button. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to go back and look at all the other videos. First of all, let's pause for a moment. Can y'all check out my locks though? Like, look how they coming along. Oh, such a beautiful journey. Y'all see this? Granted, I watched and retwist last week, but look, my retwists are getting better and better because typically by this time, my retwists be like super poofy and just out of order. Let's just jump right in. I have been working at home for 5 years now. 5 years. How long? 5 years. And for all you guys who do not know, I am in the education field and I have been teaching for over 20 years now. Whoa, makes me sound super old. 20 years now, right? I think just about 20 years to be exact. My background is in early childhood education. My degree is in early childhood education. I graduated from TSU in Nashville, Tennessee. I don't live there anymore. I miss all my Nashvillians. So even graduating, I started teaching as an assistant and things like that. So I was in the field of working outside of my home. Fast forward, we had our first child in 2012. 2012, and he went to childcare. Even though we did get a discount, it was still like a car note or a bill, really. And time had passed, and it was 4 years, and we wanted another kid. So the first one was that, like, oops, baby. You know, for all those women who, you want kids, but you weren't planning to have them at that time. That's how our first child came about. But we thank God for him because he is strong and healthy and he is amazing. But the second one we actually planned and we're like, yeah, we want another kid. This might be a good time. 4 years, you know, so it's a nice little gap. We decided to have another baby and I got the epiphany like, hey, instead of paying for 2 kids to go to childcare, how about I just start my own? My husband at that time was like, you have a good job. Are you sure? How do you know people are gonna wanna come to you? And At that time, we were not owning a home as well. So, but he trusted me and we made the choice that I resigned from my position. And that summer when we went on our break, all teachers usually get a summer break, I resigned and I literally like put my application in, went to a couple of my resources. They gave me lots of information. And prior to doing this, I actually wanted to open up my own school, looked into the information for it, and it was a lot more that needed to go into it. Not to say I couldn't do it, but to just leave from that job to rush into that, I would not have had the time to prepare, or I would have had to actually just had the opening date much later. So, but my plan was to resign. So when fall comes, I'm like open, booming, and moving forward. Long story short, like I said, I put my application in to apply large, which is up to 14 children in your home. And I got approved and they came through my house, did everything. And I ended up getting licensed for a large. That's 14 kids. I started this all too with like us to plan to have another kid. Talk about faith. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, right? So I started all this with the desire to have another child, and also to one kid. I used to babysit their older brothers who are like in college now, and the parents ended up having another child. So they were like, yeah, we need him to put him in daycare, childcare, you know, so he can start learning, because he's at the age where it's like just not getting stimulated is not okay. So I was like, yeah, I'm about to open up a daycare, and that just really pumped me up, because I have that one kid, right? One kid. That's all you need, right? And y'all, when I tell you, they were not my first kid at all. And it's crazy how God just be working things out, because even though it didn't work out for them to be my first kid, when I got licensed and when I opened up, our landlords, because like I said, we were renting. We did this in a house we didn't even own. So, and on top of that, we were not in a year lease. We were in a month-to-month lease. So talking about really having faith, that is some faith for you, because technically they could have been like, you have 30 days to leave, and we got a whole business and all these kids, and yeah. So that is what happened. My first kid was my personal kid, my oldest son, and then the second child that I got was our landlord. The people who we rented from, they had a grandchild and she needed to child care. It was her, and it was my son and this little girl, and I used to take them to the library and doing the park dates and all these things, because they could just fit in the car. And time progressed, and really quickly, because word got around, God blessed me with somebody else, and I got twins, beautiful twins, and then I got just kids just started rolling in, and I was kind of shocked about how fast it happened, because I've only been doing this for 5 years, and literally like not even a year in, I was full and with a waiting list. Like, God is so good. But so that's why I stopped working and just started my own business to work from home. So I did get pregnant, and that I worked through that whole thing. And when I started, it was just me. My husband was there to help me as I needed help. And after that, I was blessed enough to be able to hire an assistant and bless somebody else. And, you know, things just started happening. Also, so with that being like the initial thing of wanting to start my own home childcare, really I just wanted to be able to, like, for everybody that all parents who work, you guys understand this. Like, you work because why? You need to provide for your family. Whether you're married or single, you know you need to provide. And you all, as a parent, you want to give your child more than what you grew up. You want to do better, right? There's like a bar that, you know, your parents probably did the best that they could, and you didn't have these things, but you want your kids to be able to experience these things, travel, whatever the case may be, right? So, but at the end of the day, deep down, you kind of want to spend that time with your kid. But you know, like in reality, there's no way, you know what I'm saying? Because most of the time you need money like instantly to pay those bills, to go on this trip, to do all these things, right? So I understand completely, and no judgment for people who work out there in the work field, because I was one of those as well. But I miss being at home with my kid. I realized how I really miss being at home. And with our oldest son being in, he went to daycare, y'all. I shouldn't even call it daycare. He went to childcare because she was awesome, and it wasn't just babysitting. She taught my son a lot of things. Shout out to Nana. But I missed a lot. Like, he learned a lot, and we would pick him up, and it was just like, dang, when did he start doing this? And, you know, stuff like that. And so when it came to the second kid, it was just like, I want to be here for these things. I want to experience these things and kind of be that stay-at-home mom, but being able to also just pitch in with receiving income because we can. Why not? And I'm just not a lazy person. So this time my husband was working outside of home. Now he works from home as well. We both work from home. And it has been a true joy. Like, I was literally able to, like, with my first son, he went back to childcare at, I want to say it was, he had to go back, it was probably like 6 weeks, because at that time that I took my max, and that was it. 6 weeks. That baby was tiny, and he was already a small baby, so it was just like, and it was already, you know, that's hard to just be able, for your child to be so young and have to send them to somebody else. And even though she was a family friend, and she raised my nephews and things like that, it's still like, this was my first child. So, but that's what had to happen. And so when it came to my second child, I was able to work from home. I was able to take breaks when I needed to take breaks. Both of my kids were late. They didn't want to come out. But the second one, I had him, and I was able to be blessed enough to come home, have an assistant to open up, to my husband stepped in and helped, to have a husband that worked from home. And, you know, I literally came out the room to like use the bathroom, and that was pretty much it. So, like, talk about God blessing. It was like a season of blessings, and he just continues to bless, you know what I'm saying? And so that was like my main reason for wanting to stay home and work from home, because it was like we were given a position. It was like, you have a degree in this. Why aren't you doing this? And if you want to open up a school, do this for a couple of years. Don't despise small beginnings, and then progress. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were created to do, to constantly progress, you know? And what came after that, it was flexibility. Granted, I put myself in a little bondage when I first started, because it's like, you want people to come, you don't want people to be turned away, you kind of want to accept everybody, so you're kind of really lenient on like just basically having strict rules. So like my times were from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is a really long day. And for all those who have their children in childcare, if it is basically your only option, I completely understand. But for all those parents who are able to pick up your kid, or you have a day off, like, take that time. Our children are a blessing to us. There are people out there who cannot have kids. And for parents to take advantage of that and take advantage of the people helping raise their children, like, just be kind. Like, they're tired too. When I first started, there were so many times, because you know, you open up, you don't want to be, you want everybody to come, and you're good at what you do. I overtaxed myself to the point where when I got off, I had nothing for my family, nothing at all, to the point where it was a problem in my marriage, because he was like, you're always falling asleep. As soon as I sat down, I fell asleep. my kids. I just didn't have anything. I had a bad attitude, all of that. So for all who work inside or outside of the home, you have to remember to take care of yourself, because your first ministry is really your family. You know what I'm saying? So like, stop trying to give your everything to these jobs and to all these other things. Like, you need to give it to your family and to God, more importantly, and He will supply your needs. He will do everything that needs to happen. Because too many times people are like in this rat race of, I got to be the best, and I don't care what it takes, I'm going to be the best because I'm doing it. And then they make up reasons, this is why I'm doing it, when it's really probably selfish reasons because you're insecure in certain areas. So it makes you feel a lot better personally inside when everybody else is suffering. Like literally, your little oikos, your circle, your group that depends on you and your support system, they're suffering because of it. So just keep that in mind. But so basically, I was not flexible in the beginning. I put a lot on myself. I was stressed out all the time, mentally and physically. And nobody ever knew, because I always kept a smile on my face. And I knew if I started something, I needed to finish it in excellence, when really I was just really damaging myself. And then my family just didn't get the all of me that I can give to them. So that stopped as soon as I got a wake-up call very soon. And I ended up changing my times to shorter hours. And it worked out great. But to go back, because I went off. So to go back, if you do not have any other support, please keep your kids in a safe environment that is stimulating and educating for them, as long as they allow. However, if you are able to pick up your children, to have a day off, things like that, or even if you have a day off and you want to spend some time by yourself, pick them up a little early. Because if you think about it, you're exhausted as an adult at work for 8 hours, sometimes even 6 hours, right? But you keep your child in childcare for 10 hours plus. I used to have some people that did that. Granted, some people needed to do that, so that's completely understandable. Nothing against that. But when you have the ability to pick up your child early, to do all these things, like, take advantage of it. These kids did not ask to be here. They were a blessing to you. And even though it may be hard at times, this is here to make you, they're here to make you better. You know what I'm saying? For you to learn something out of it, but not take advantage with things. So that was me going back on that point. But yeah, the flexibility. So now I have grown a lot in this field in so many different areas, and I am flexible. Like, I want to be able to, I rarely took days off when I first started, but now I know that it's important for me to have mental health days, for me to, at least kind of take a break at least once a month. And if it doesn't work for people, it might not be the place for them, and that's okay. But for the people who support you and understand that you're not taking advantage, that you're doing what you do out of love, that you are good at what you do, and it's a blessing to their life, they will stick with you regardless. They may not like it all the way, but they will stick with you. And at the end of the day, for you to give, as a childcare provider, for you to give the best care to their children, when there's so many stories out here of people doing crazy things to other people's kids, like, you will appreciate whatever comes out of it, So like I said, sometimes they don't always like the changes that I make, but they appreciate the work that me and my assistant, which is also my friend, does. So flexibility, and what else? So third reason is my passion for kids. I am the fourth The fourth, what? The fourth, what? I am the fourth generation of educators in my family. So even though it's in my bloodline, you know, I really do enjoy it. Just seeing how their little minds work. I enjoy how kids just develop and how like I had a part in, you know, helping our future and the future of these kids and giving them a proper foundation. And I think I love like the smaller ones the most because like those are the most prime years. Like when they're from birth to about 5, like what they can get, man. I have had so many students come back and be like, wow, they still remember you, man, because you taught them this. They are like #1 in their class. They do so well on their schoolwork and things like that. And that is a blessing. You know, sometimes I may not hear all the stories, but it's all about planting the seed. And sometimes some have reaped and not sown, and some have sown and not reaped. So it's just about doing everything in excellence unto God, and that's what I'm about. So everything I put my hands on, I try to do it in excellence because it pleases Him. And sometimes everything may not be perfect, and what you come out the way you want it to come out and look the way you want it to look, but at the end of the day, as long as you did your best, that's all that matters. So my passion for children, I love them. They get on my nerves. Granted, they do get on my nerves sometimes, but hey, I wouldn't be human if they didn't. Because granted, sometimes everybody has a moment where they're like irritated, but their little hearts are they're so pure and so precious, and I just love them. Lastly, the creativity. I love to be creative. I love to try new things. I love to see how I can change something up. And so one of the last points I'm going to mention in this video of why I work from home is just I'm able to use my creativity in a way where I don't have to get it approved. I don't have to ask permission. I'm just able to be me, and for the people that come to me, they're able to appreciate it. And I get feedback not only from parents but from grandparents who just know the change in their kids and how you know, I'm able to just try new things. Like learning is all about making it fun. I mean, even now they've gotten to the point where it's learn through play. So instead of being so book structured, everything is a learning moment. So that's a little tip for all those parents out there. Never think that you first know that you are your kid's first teacher. So never go to your kid's classroom and say, because of you. No, you are your kid's first. You are your kid's first teacher. So what you teach them first is important. And then whoever comes in there in the picture next to help, they're helping assist you with whatever their specialty is. So learning is to be fun. Everything could be a learning and teachable moment. And I love the fact that I'm able to use my creativity in it. So think outside the box and do those things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye. See you guys next Tuesday. What? Next Tuesday? What? Next Tuesday? What? Next Tuesday?